Hello, dear students. Today we are going to learn a new lesson from our English Balbharati textbook. Lesson number 16. No formalities, please. Part 1. The students of class 4 greeted their teacher, Mrs. Desai, before they sat down. It was time for the English lesson. Shall we take out our Balbharati textbook, teacher? Asked Shruti. Not now, said the teacher. We are going to learn letter writing today. Some special types of letters. Come here, Javed and Nisha. Please distribute these notebooks. And while they give out the books, continued Mrs. Desai, let me give you some good news. The students were all ears now. Their teacher announced with a smile, new arrivals in the library and plenty of them. Story books of every kind, informative books with lovely pictures, books of puzzles, jokes, all have been displayed in the library, so you will know which one to ask for the next time you are in a library. Oh, lovely! I can hardly wait, were some of the eager responses to this piece of news. All were excited except one. What's the use? Complained Felix. We have only one library period in a week and hardly for half an hour too. Just when the story gets interesting, we have to leave the book and go back to the class. Now, Varsha joined in to say, for 2 weeks, I have been waiting to know what happened to the Pied Piper of Hamelin. There was a holiday last Thursday, and we missed the library period. Mrs. Desai realized that what her students said was perfectly true. She decided to request to the principal to allow a home issue facility for class 4. After all, they were big enough to look after the books they take home. Hey, wait, thought Mrs. Desai. There's a better way to do it. Why not let the students themselves write a letter of request to the principal? After all, that was what she had planned to teach that day. How to write polite, formal letters. There's a better way to do it. Why not let the students themselves write a letter of request to the principal? After all, that was what she had planned to teach that day. How to write polite, formal letters. What an opportunity! A good subject for a formal letter. And of course, a real situation would make learning more effective and interesting. When Mrs. Desai suggested this to her class, they were very excited. Without losing much time, Mrs. Desai began to teach her class how to write a formal letter. The sender's address and the date should be written in the upper right corner of the page, she thought. The next step is to write the name or post of the receiver near the left margin. Then write his or her address below that. And after that, you must write the subject of the letter, in short, below the receiver's address, she further instructed. That's something new, remarked Sharon. We don't mention a subject in our friendly letters, do we? Of course not, said Mrs. Desai. What do we do next, teacher? Shruti wanted to know. You address the receiver, writing Dear Sir or Dear Madam. Remember, the rest of the letter also should be written in a polite language. Write to the point. Mrs. Desai explained. And what should we do in the end? Yours lovingly. asked Renu. Oh no, said teacher. You can write that to your friends or parents or even to me. But when you're writing as a student to the principal, you may write yours faithfully or sincerely. Do not forget to thank the receiver appropriately before you close the letter. Come on now, let's draft this letter together. After quite a few errors, cancellations, and changes, here's the letter Class 4 wrote to the principal. It was written very neatly. Okay, students, you have to take out your textbook at this point and try to read the letter. It is very well written. I'll just read it. We have to write the address of ourselves. Then the main thing which is written is we the students of class 4 have a request. Our English teacher Mrs. Desai has informed us about many new books that have arrived in our school library. We are eager to read them. However, it is not possible for us to finish reading a book during the library period. It is only once a week. May we have your kind permission, madam, to take the books for home reading? We promise that we shall take utmost care of the books and return them on time. So, you can read this in the English Balbharati textbook also. Now, part 2 17. No formalities, please. Mrs. Desai met the principal soon after class. She told her about the excitement that followed the announcement of the new books in the library. They just cannot wait to read all those lovely books, she beamed. The principal was also delighted and praised her. The credit goes to you, Mrs. Desai. You have created and aroused their interest in reading books. It's going to help them a great deal in future. Yes, madam, said Mrs. Desai. But they find the weekly library period too short a time to read. So, my students are going to appeal you to allow home issue of books. They have written to you a letter of request. A letter? Why? Asked the principal in surprise. I had to teach the class how to write polite formal letters. And I took this opportunity to make them actually write a formal letter, explained Mrs. Desai. Excellent, Mrs. Desai, exclaimed the principal. And I shall not dampen their interest in reading. I shall certainly allow them to take books home for reading. The next morning, the principal found the letter on her desk. She signed the letter with the remark, "Permission granted," and sent it to the librarian. To encourage the children of class 4 further, the principal instructed the librarian to give a written reply to the students, and here's what she wrote. Yes, this is the reply from the librarian. Please take out your English Balbharati textbook and read it. It is very interesting to write a letter. And that's what we are going to see in this lesson. I hope you all enjoy letter writing. See you. Hey, great news! Cried out the monitor. Look, we have received a letter from the librarian. And guess what? We can take storybooks home to read. Wow! Exclaimed Shruti with bright round eyes. Goodbye, boredom. Welcome, happy hours, shouted Akshay. The letter from the librarian was put up on the class notice board for all to read. When Mrs. Desai walked into the classroom, the students of class 4 burst out into many exclamations of thanks. Shall I write a letter of thanks to the librarian? Suggested Manuja. That's an excellent idea, said Mrs. Desai, smiling to herself at this new interest in formal letter writing. That's an excellent idea, said Mrs. Desai, smiling to herself at this new interest in formal letter writing. This is the letter of thanks the children wrote to the librarian. This is the letter of thanks the children wrote to the librarian. So, this is a reply which the students of class 4 give back again to the librarian. It is a wonderful lesson, and we learn how to write a letter in this lesson. I hope you all will start writing letters. I would like to see some of those. Copy this pink color box in your English notebook. This is how we write a letter, and you have to copy down all the hard words which are being shown during the lesson. Thank you. Bye. Take care.